What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another video. And in this video, the dogs are fighting in the background. And we're going to talk about the order that has came down from the judge, all right, versus her opinion. Because the yes-tards are in my comments talking about how CSI is late to the party. But people, come on. They haven't learned their lesson yet not to challenge me. All right, your favorite YouTuber that you're saying beat me and was talking about this before we even had word of it? Come on, man. We were all reading, including myself, from the memorandum opinion, which she laid out the arguments as to why she was going to approve the settlement, period. That was not the final judgment. It was her opinion, and in her final judgment, the order, she's going to list specifically what immunity Adam Aaron and the board have. Okay, so don't tell me how CSI is late to the party, sons of bitches. All right, I'm early to the party because ain't nobody else been able to tell you who exactly is involved in the lawsuit, who's a plaintiff, who's not a plaintiff, what the immunity for Adam Aaron and the board will consist of, and what it doesn't consist of. She shows you what harm has been done and what we can do about it, all in the order. All right, and we got this yesterday. Order is 13 pages, so let's begin reading, okay? Order certifying class and approving settlement. Whereas a stockholder class action is pending in the court entitled RE, we know who the hell it is. Whereas a stipulation and agreement of promise and settlement and release dated as of April 27, 2023 has been entered into by and among the plaintiffs, which are Anthony, Franchi, and Allegheny County Employees Retirement System. They're a plaintiff. Individually and on behalf of the settlement class as defined below. She's going to certify the class in just a couple of moments. She hasn't done it yet, not until she has signed this piece of paper. All right? And the defendants, Adam Aaron, Dennis Clark, Howard Cox Jr., Philip Lauder, Gary Glock, Kathleen Paulus, all the board, okay? They're all the defendants in this case. So that when they discuss immunity, this is who they're talking about. Now, I want to bring particular attention to the fact that I mentioned in the last video that Docket Alarm had Al from Boston listed as a plaintiff. And he's not. You see it plain and clear who exactly the plaintiffs are, and it's not Al from Boston or A. Matthews, okay? That's been there from the beginning. Everybody that started filing things in the beginning for intervention and so forth, they got put on that list. But they're no longer there. Docket Alarm, as normal, has a glitch. And it's been there for since it began. Whereas the stipulation provides for a settlement subject to the approval of the court among the parties and for a dismissal of action as well as the claims in blah, 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 with prejudice and against defendants upon the terms and conditions set forth in the stipulation. Now get ready. Here's what she's going to say on page 5. Now, therefore, it is hereby ordered, adjudged, and decreed that this is going to be the settlement and everything that's entitled here. The first thing she has to establish is she has jurisdiction over the case, and that is point 1 here. She says she has jurisdiction over the plaintiffs, she has jurisdiction over the defendants, and she has jurisdiction over the settlement class as a whole. So she will be able to make a ruling in this case. That's point 1. You go on down, And here we see that she decrees in point number 2 the dissemination of the notice substantially in the form attached as Exhibit B to the stipulation of the postcard, and publication of the summary of notice substantially in the form attached as Exhibit C to the stipulation, pursuant to and in the manner prescribing in the scheduling order the dissemination of the notice, the postcards and things, constitutes due and sufficient notice to all persons entitled to receive notice of the settlement, and in compliance with the Delaware Court of Chancery's Rule 23, the request of due process, and all other applicable laws and rules. Over here on her opinion, you see where she says the comprehensive electronic notice coupled with the supplemental but imperfect postcard notice was adequate notice under Delaware law. And on page 9 of her opinion, she says, for the reasons that follow, this opinion concludes the class is certified under Rule 23, and opt-out right is not warranted given the proposed settlement structure, meaning you can't opt out. The notice through postcards, although it was imperfect, it was adequate enough. Now, I know you're going to have questions concerning that. How can something that's imperfect be adequate? And she gives the argument that even if AMC would have been able to send the postcards out to all the shareholders, none of the ones that didn't get one would have had a new argument or a new objection. That all the objections that she has seen pretty much covered everything that she had jurisdiction over, so any other postcards would not have been anything new. That was her argument. That's why she says it was adequate, although it was imperfect. In point 3, she decrees that the court hereby finally certifies the action. This is now certified as a class action suit, and it's a non-opt-out action. All right, that everybody that's a member of the class, you have no out, no matter whether you ask for it or not. All right, which is the way it goes. And now that she's certified exactly who the class is, in point 4, she's going to talk about who exactly will be the lead plaintiff. Finally, the court hereby finally appoints plaintiffs as representatives for the settlement class, and Bernstein, Lipowitz, Berger, and Grossman, LLP, all those lawyers are your lawyers. They are now the lead counsel. All right? Now, what exactly does that mean? Like, to me, that's telling me that she has refused Rose Izzo's request to have her lawyer become lead plaintiff for the class. And it also tells me that she shut her eyes to over 3,000 shareholders who signed petitions requesting Miss Izzo to be our lead plaintiff. The judge right here says, nope, no way, it's going to be these fellows here. They are now the lead counsel in point 4. Now I've got to stop here on point 5 because I have to go next door. It's time for me to go check on my dad and his sugar and make sure he's got his breakfast and everything. All right. So if another YouTuber wants to pick it up from point 5, be my guest. If not, by the time I get back at lunchtime, I'll pick up at 5 myself, and we'll continue on to what you can know exactly what she says in her order and what the settlement is and the immunity clause is. Okay? So with that, I love y'all. Be blessed, and I'll be back this afternoon.